Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria Chi, and in today's video I'll be drawing cornrow braids. So basically this drawing that I'm working on right now in this video is a drawing that I made in the middle of class. I was in a classroom and we were taking a test for the midterms, and we were told that once we're done taking the test we had to shut down our computers and we could take out a book or anything else but our phones or computers. After I finished taking my test, I put my computer away and I decided to take out my sketchbook and just make a little sketch of whatever it was. And so as I was drawing the face, because I start off with the face first and then I go to the hair and then the body and the clothes, that's how I go about my sketching process. But for that time, I decided to draw the face first, and then when it came to hair, I was like, why not do braids, right? And so I really love cornrows, and I decided to do a little practice of drawing cornrows because I'm not really good at it. Then I started drawing these cornrows on this, and it's not the best looking cornrows, but I am trying. I'm trying to get to that point of art where I'm good at drawing cornrows. When it comes to hair, the hair type that I draw the most is straight hair or curly hair, because mostly I draw straight hair because it's much easier, and I draw curly hair because I like the way that I shade it and the way it looks like for me personally. That's why I like drawing those two types of hair. But then when it comes to braids, cornrows, or just like box braids, it's really hard for me to draw because of the way it looks like. It's kind of hard for me to replicate that, and also the placement of the parting of the hair. It's just really overall hard for me, and I'm trying to get myself familiar with how to work around it and how to draw something like that. And so that's why I decided to start drawing the cornrow braids in the middle of class, because everybody else was taking their test and all I could do was just draw. So I was like, why not draw cornrows? And so I tried my best, and I know these are not going to be the best looking cornrows ever, but I tried. The whole point of it was to just get myself to be a little bit comfortable with it and familiarize myself with it as well. As much as I'm starting to love drawing cornrows because of what I did here in this video, because now I'm more motivated to make more cornrow drawings, but the problem is that it's just very time consuming and a lot of detail has to be put into it, and these braids that I'm drawing right now in this video are not accurate. They're literally not accurate. I have cornrows in my head right now, and I love cornrows. I love getting my hair braided in cornrow styles, and sometimes Fulani braids, sometimes box braids. Not box braids, knotless braids. Box braids, they sometimes fall off my head, literally, quite literally they fall off my head. And it, like, there's this one time in middle school, oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing because I had these blonde braids with like white tips. Like, I think one of my braids fell off because it's box braids, right? And they fell off in the middle of the hallway. The school was not that big, so like basically people could literally familiarize themselves with everybody else in that area. And everybody knew that I was the only girl with box braids. And yeah, so basically when people started to see that box braid strand on the floor in the middle of the hallway, and it was during lunch as well. So basically the reason why it was on the floor, I'm gonna explain. As I remember, I was in PE with one of my friends and we were making jokes about stuff, and then we started talking about my hair, and they were like, I like your hair, I like the hair color, and I was like, thank you. And then I told him that it sometimes falls off because like some hair, because it was really old, and some braids already started falling off, and I was planning on taking them out that week on Friday. And then when I told them that my braids started falling off, they were like, you're lying, prove it. And I was like, I'm gonna prove it. And so I pulled out one strand easily, and I showed it to them, like, literally guys, it's literally falling off. And they're like, oh, okay. And so instead of throwing that strand away, I should have literally thrown it away, but I didn't. And I took it and I tied it, because my hair was already in a ponytail. And so I tied my ponytail up, and then I took that strand and I put it on the ponytail. I think it was on my third period before lunch. I asked my teacher to go to the bathroom, and when I went to the bathroom, on my way back to the classroom, I think that's when that strand fell off my ponytail onto the floor. And it was literally next to the bathroom as well. I go back into my science class, which was my third period. Oh my gosh, I love that teacher. I miss her so much. So I go back to that classroom, we sit down, we do the work, and then the bell rings and it's time to go for lunch. And on our way there, I spot that braid on the floor next to the bathroom door. One of the teachers kind of like was walking by there, and she was like, whose braid is that? She almost finished her sentence, and when she saw me, she just stopped talking. And I was like, oh, I was gonna crash out. She was like, oh, Yeah, never mind. She didn't say anything again. And that was so crazy and it was so embarrassing for me. And also, mind y'all, I was new to that school. I was literally the new kid. I wanted the earth to open up and swallow me whole and just take me out of that place because everybody was looking at me. And so as well, like, since we're going to lunch, right, we have to go to the lunch line and get our lunch. And so everybody was just looking at me. And so we ate the lunch, we finished. And then on our way back to our classrooms, these 3 girls come up to me and they're like, girl, I saw your braids on the floor. And they took out a picture on their phones and showed it to me. And I was like, ow, why would you take a picture of that? Like, literally, why would you take a picture of that? Honestly, I was like, oh, okay. I was just so speechless and also embarrassed because I was like, what am I supposed to say about that? That like my braid fell off. So what do you want me to say? So I just looked at them and I was like, oh, and I was actually panicking because I was so embarrassed and I didn't know what to say. And then they looked at me, they kind of noticed, I think. And they were like, no, it's really okay. It's completely okay. Calm down. And I was like, okay, right. And then after that, the whole day just went by. And then when it was time to go home, I ride the bus home. And so I got on the bus and I sat down. The bus driver was waiting for all the students to get on the bus and then we could go. As we were waiting, this one guy who was sitting like 3 seats in front of me, he turns around and he looks at me. He's like, I saw your braid on the floor in the hallway. We'll crash out. Why would you bring that up? So I was just like, oh, okay. And I pretended to not hear him. Crazy. I pretended not to hear him and I was like, I didn't hear you. And I was like, what did you say? And then he repeated it. He had the audacity to repeat it. And I was like, oh, okay. Knowing that I literally pulled it out myself and put it on my ponytail instead of throwing it away. And then it fell in the hallways and everybody saw it and then they started talking to me and they were like, oh, I saw your hair, I saw your braid, and it was just crazy. I was literally so embarrassed and I was so afraid to go to school and I was like, I do not want to go there. I don't want to go there anymore. I just want to stay home. But anyways, like I said, I was gonna get those braids out on Friday that week, and so I did that, and yeah, that memory has always stayed in my head. And that's a little middle school story time about my box braids. That's one of the reasons why I really don't like getting box braids anymore, because I'm just so scared that they're gonna fall off, literally. And then that whole moment is gonna repeat again. And so that's why I like having knotless braids instead of those type of braids. But those braids are so good because like they last longer than knotless braids. Box braids last longer, literally. Problem is that they fall off. For me personally, they fall off a lot. And so I was like, I'm not repeating that same moment again in school again. Like literally, absolutely not. My 4 years of middle school were just so diabolical, honestly, and I have a bunch of story times to share about that, and I will be sharing that in my future videos. But like for today, it's just a random thought that really popped out of my head because I wasn't really thinking of talking about the box braids situation back in middle school. I was planning on talking about the cornrows and like my drawing process for this video, but that just popped up in my mind and I just started talking about it. So there you go, a free little story time of my middle school embarrassment. I wouldn't say it was really embarrassing. I feel like it was like a natural thing because they're braids. They could fall off anytime or anything, but like it was still embarrassing because like everybody saw it. Yeah, that's that, and that's why I am sticking to my cornrows and knotless braid. So yeah, these are the cornrow braids. So basically, I feel like these cornrow braids in this drawing were really tight because the cornrow braids in real life are not that tight. They have like a little space in between, if you know what I mean. And also the curls at the end is just something that I personally have on right now. Those cornrows are not exactly what I have on, but like I do have cornrows with curls at the end. And those 2 braids on the other side was just me trying to practice those little partings, little space in between that I'm talking about that are not on the actual cornrows. I really want to get good at drawing braids, cornrows, knotless, or just different types of hairstyles that are braided, if that makes sense. But the point is, I just really want to get good at drawing braids because that is something that I really want to get good at personally. And also I want to have a variety of hairstyles to be doing when I'm drawing. I also want to learn perspective on the head, like head perspective, because sometimes I just don't know what direction to draw the hair in, like not just for braids but like also for straight hair, curly hair. I really want to get in depth with drawing hair because most of my hair is very much basic and I want to like improve that. I just want to improve my art overall and make it look good. I mean, it looks good right now, but I know I can do better. I also wanted to add a little verse to today's video. Also, there is a little cross. I wouldn't say it's like a little cross. I think it's a little big, medium cross on her shirt. On the girl that I'm drawing, her shirt has a little medium cross on her shirt. And so I'm Christian, and I just wanted to share this little verse that I read, which is Psalms chapter 4 verse 4, which says, "Don't sin by letting anger control you. Think about it overnight and remain silent." This verse is very important and very powerful as well, because some people act based on how they're feeling. When they're angry, they do things that they end up regretting most of the times, which is why it says to think about it overnight and remain silent. Do not let your anger lead you into sin. Do not let your anger make you do something that you will later on regret, which is why when we get angry, we shouldn't be so quick to act. We should be quick to be silent and think about it overnight, instead of acting on it immediately. We're human beings, okay? And we're around people that are annoying, people that give us stress, people that just don't listen, right? And also sometimes you don't always have to answer people. You don't always have to give them a response. Your silence can speak volume. Sometimes your friend, your family member, or somebody could do something bad to you that would make you mad or angry or something like that. And instead of you shouting at them and backlashing, you remain silent and you just look at them silently. Them themselves, with the brain that they have and the senses that was given to them by God, will know that this person is mad at me. This person, I have hurt them. I have done something that have offended them. And so they will come to you and apologize or try to make amends for it. And if they don't, then I guess they're not grown enough. Because if you're really that grown, then you would know that you have messed up, that you have crossed a boundary. Like you have done something that really upset your friend or your family member or something like that. Some people don't really notice that they've done something bad, and so you have to spell it out for them. And that's okay. You can spell it out for them and just tell them nicely, though. Do not be aggressive. Just tell them calmly and patiently that you didn't like something that they did, that you didn't like what they did to you, what they said. Because sometimes we're human. Sometimes we don't understand. Sometimes we can sense that somebody is mad, but we just don't understand why. But if it's an obvious thing, then I really just don't know what is going on with them. But just be open about it and tell them, instead of being mad and letting anger control you into doing something that you're going to regret later on, something that is going to cause you to sin, like throwing your phone at the wall. What's that going to give you? What are you going to get from that except for a broken phone? Yeah, so that's the word of today. If you're also Christian and you haven't been reading your Bible lately, I am definitely recommending that you hop back into reading it. Or if you are a Christian but you just don't read your Bible, I would recommend, and I am recommending that you start reading your Bible, because it's such a good thing. The Bible is like a little instruction, like guideline for Christians how to live a godly life. I am personally and currently reading Psalms, and I know Psalms is like the biggest book in the Bible. It's gonna be a hassle. I think it's gonna take me like months to finish it, but I'm doing like 1 or 2 chapters a day, which is not too much. Also, by the way, I am like on Psalms chapter 5, and they're so flipping short. Like literally there's 6 verses, 8 verses, 12 verses, and I'm like, oh, no wonder y'all got so many chapters in here, because you have short little chapters. Another little crazy thing about me is that whenever I start reading my Bible, I always jump from book to book, and I could just never stay rooted in one book and just finish it without having to stop and read another book. A good example of this is that I started reading Genesis first, and Genesis has 50 chapters, I believe, and I stopped on like the 30th chapter and I started reading Matthew. And then Matthew, I believe I'm on the 13th chapter, and then I stopped, and then I started reading Psalms. The books that I've finished are like the really short books, but then I still don't remember a lot of what I read. Like Colossians, I read the whole entirety of Colossians, but did not remember what I read. I don't. Also Ecclesiastes, I remember some fragments, but like not entirely. But yeah, it's really good to read your Bible and understand what you're reading, and also kind of like still memorize some of it, like not entirely memorize it, but still know what the book is talking about, or like remember what the rules are, what you should and shouldn't do. So basically this is the final sketch, the final product, the final drawing, the final look, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. God bless.